Chapter 90. The subjugation of two sprites. Reaching Mengjin, Gao Ming and Gao Ju asked the guards to report their arrival to Yonhong. Yonhong went to welcome them outside the camp with his other generals, and there he received the royal reward. He expressed his thanks, entertained the royal messenger, and invited Gao Ming and Gao Ji to join him at a conference. Yonhong knew they were the Peach Sprite and Willow Sprite from Mount Chessboard, and they could tell he was the White Ape Sprite from Mount Plum. They laughed and enjoyed themselves together, as they were all of the same origin. Gao Ming and Gao Ji were then introduced to the other generals. Yonhong wrote a report to thank King Zhou and sent the royal messenger back to Zhaoge the next day. One morning, Yonhong sent Gao Ming and Gao Ji to challenge the enemy. They rushed before the camp of the Zhou army and shouted, "Let Jiang Ziya come to meet us." After receiving the patrolman's report, Jiang Ziya asked, "Who would like to go to meet them?" "I will, master," Nijia answered. With Jiang's approval, Nijia rushed from the camp to meet the two men. They looked wicked, one playing a ridged halberd and the other a long-handled axe as big as a wheel. "Who are you?" Nijia roared. "We are Gao Ming and Gao Ji. By order of Commander Yonhong, we become to arrest Jiang Ziya, the rebel chief." "Who are you that dares to meet us?" Gao Ming replied. "You damn beast. How dare you brag like this?" Nijia swore. He flew into attack, and they met him with halberd and axe, fighting violently. Nijia transformed himself and threw his universal ring at Gao Ji, smashing him into golden light which radiated all over the ground. He then threw up his 9-dragon divine fire coverlet covering Gao Ming. He patted it with his hand and the 9 dragons burned wildly. Nijia returned and reported to Jiang Ziya that he had smashed Gao Ji with his universal ring and decimated Gao Ming with his coverlet. Jiang Ziya was delighted to hear this news. Returning to their camp, Gao Ming and Gao Ji reported to Yonhong. Jiang Ziya has achieved success by depending on his disciples, but he has not yet met talented men like us. They are certainly not our match, as we have the power to deal with those who can break through heaven and turn the earth upside down. Everyone was pleased to hear this, and the following day, both Gao Ming and Gao Ji rushed out again, demanding to meet Jiang Ziya in person. Jiang Ziya was puzzled by the report. He turned to Nijia. "Didn't you report yesterday that you had finished off Gao Ming and Gao Ji? How could they have returned? They may know witchcraft and have thus escaped. Would you, dear uncle, go to the front with us today, so we can find out what happened?" Nijia answered. Jiang Ziya ordered all 600 nobles to go to front. The camp gates were opened with a roar of cannons, and Jiang rode out in front. He yelled loudly, "Gao Ming and Gao Ji, how dare you resist our great army? You will only meet your end." Gao Ming burst into laughter and said, "I know you're from Mount Kunlun, but I don't think you've ever met the likes of us. We'll let you know what we are soon enough." Gao Ming and Gao Ji ran up with halberd and axe and were met by Li Jing and Yang Ren. They fought desperately. Yang Jian, standing nearby, could see the sprite-like air around the two Jiaos. They were undoubtedly troublemakers. He kept close watch on them, and soon he saw Yang Ren take out his 5-fire fan. Gao Ming turned himself into a beam of black light and disappeared when Yang Ren tried to fan him. Li Jing threw up his gold pagoda, but Gao Ji also forced his way out. Yonhong saw that both Gao Ming and Gao Ji had been defeated. He immediately sent Wu Long and Chang Hao to join the combat. They rushed out with shout, "Don't go away, you Zhou generals. We're coming now." Nijia and Yang Jian met the two, and Yonhong impatiently spurred his white horse forward to attack Jiang Ziya. He was quickly met by Thunderbolt, who flew up into the air and hit Yonhong on the head with Peace Cudgel. Wei Hu threw up his demon-subduing club, which was very heavy, and as Yonhong was only a white ape, he could not bear such a powerful weapon. He turned himself into a beam of white light and fled, leaving his horse to be smashed into clay. Yang Jian then sent out his sky-barking hound after Chang Hao. As he could not resist the fairy hound, he too was compelled to turn himself into black smoke, so that he could run away. When Ne Jia tried to cover up Wu Long, Wu likewise turned himself into green smoke and completely disappeared. Returning to camp, Yang Jian said, "We have fought in vain today. My master warned me, at Mengjin, there will be 7 sprites from Mount Plum to block your way. As we could see today, our magic weapons were powerless against them. Commander, we must rely on our wits instead of physical strength." "You're right. I have a way to deal with them," Jiang Ziya replied. That night, the drums were beaten and all the generals assembled at the headquarters to wait for orders. Jiang Ziya issued a written note to Li Jing which said, "Set up peach tree log pillars in the east. Spread dog blood over them and write these spells." Jiang then ordered Thunderbolt to do the same in the south, Ne Jia in the west, and Yang Ren in the north. Jiang Ziya turned to Yang Jin. "You are to induce the enemy into the trap and strike the pillars with lightning." And he finished up with Wei Hu. "Mix the blood of black chickens and black dogs in these bottles with human urine and feces. When Gao Ming and Gao Ju are inside the trap, throw the bottles at them. Once polluted, they cannot run away and we can then take them captive." Everyone immediately set about their assigned task, and Jiang Ziya also rushed from the camp to set up his trap. Gao Ming and Gao Ju heard every word of the conference from their camp. The two had supervision and super hearing. They laughed like a couple of hyenas and mocked Jiang Ziya. "You shall still be disappointed. Just see if you can catch us tomorrow." The next day, Jiang challenged in person, and Yun Hong sent Gao Ming and Gao Ju out to meet him. "Jiang Ziya, you boast about yourself, but to us you're only a bloody fool. As a scholar from Mount Kunlun, you should send your generals to fight us properly on the battlefield. How could you set up a trap? We are neither sprites nor ghosts. We do not fear your base and mean witchcraft." Gao Ming and Gao Ju roared in unison. When they rushed forward to attack Jiang Ziya, General Wu Ji and Nangong Kuo galloped out to meet them. Jiang then joined the combat with his sword. After several rounds, he pretended to be defeated and ran back into his battle formation. Gao Ming laughed wildly. "Don't run so fast. We know what you're up to, but we're not afraid." When the two Jiaos chased Jiang Ziya right into the trap, Li Jing attacked from the east, Thunderbolt from the south, Ne Jia from the west, and Yang Ren from the north. Wei Hu attacked them from the air with the bottles full of blood and stink. But Gao Ming and Gao Ju had already gone in a beam of green light, and no one could find them. Returning to camp, Jiang Ziya said angrily, "How could we have known that there are spies working in our own army? They reported all our secrets to Gao Ming and Gao Jiu. What are we to do now?" "Oh, dear uncle, I can't agree with you. Our generals have been with us since the beginning in West Qi. They have fought through the attacks of the 36 routes and taken part in several hundred battles in this expedition against the tyrant. We have occupied the 5 passes, and the whole nation of the Shang dynasty will be subdued in a very short time. Many have lost their lives in this war of justice. They are loyal. None of them could have committed the crime that you suspect. As far as I can see, those two people, Gao Ming and Gao Ju, are not ordinary human beings. I think they are sprites like the others. I hope you will consider this and allow me to go and find out." Yang Jian said, "Where do you plan to go?" Jiang Ziya asked eagerly. "I must keep that a secret. If the secret is leaked out, our struggle will certainly fail. Please excuse me, uncle," Yang Jian replied. With Jiang Ziya's approval, Yang Jian left the camp that night. Returning to meet Yun Hong, Gao Ming and Gao Ju reported what had happened with the peach log pillars. Yun Hong regarded it as a victory and reported it to Zhao Ge. Listening in on the conversation between Jiang Ziya and Yang Jian, Gao Ming and Gao Ji laughed and said, No matter what you do, and no matter where you go, you'll never find us out. When he got to Mount Jade Spring, Yang Jian found the door of the Golden Haze Cave tightly closed, but when he knocked, a lad came out and asked, "Where have you come from, brother? Would you please report to our master that I have come to see him?" Yang Jian replied. When he was admitted, Yang Jian knelt down before Jade Tripod, who had been in meditation. "Why have you come here, Yang Jian?" Yang Jian reported what had happened to them at Mengjin, and Jade Tripod said, "Those two bloody devils are the Peach Sprite and Willow Sprite from Mount Chessboard. They each have roots covering 30 square li, and they can pick up the spirits of heaven and earth, and the essence of the sun and moon for thousands of years. Besides this, on Mount Chessboard in Emperor Sheng Yun's temple, these are two idols made of clay. One is the 1,000 Li Eye and the other the favorable wind ear. Relying on the spirit of these two idols, Gao Ming can see everything within 1,000 li, and Gao Ju can hear all within the same radius. You may tell Jiang Ziya to send some of his men to Mount Chessboard to dig up their roots and destroy them by fire. He should also send someone to Emperor Shun Yun's temple to destroy the two clay idols. Lastly, cover your camp with thick fog, and they will be powerless against you." When he returned to camp, Jiang Ziya asked him what had happened, but Yang Jian just shook his head in silence. "Why are you behaving like this today?" Jiang Ziya asked. "I'm sorry, but I can't say anything. Please allow me to do what I must, uncle." Yang Jian replied. Jiang Ziya agreed, and Yang left the camp with a flag of command in his hand. He ordered 2,000 soldiers to each wave a red flag quickly through the air and another 1,000 to strike the gongs and beat the drums, suddenly setting up a huge roar which shook the earth all around. Jiang Ziya watched Yang Jian in astonishment. He had no idea what he was up to. But Yang soon came back and explained all that he knew about the two sprites. Red flags make it impossible for Gao Ming to see what we are doing, and the gongs and drums make it impossible for Gao Jie to hear our words. He concluded. He then told Jiang his master's instructions for dealing with the sprites. Jiang Ziya immediately ordered Li Jing to lead 3,000 soldiers to Mount Chessboard to dig up the roots of the two sprites and burn them in a huge fire. He ordered Thunderbolt to smash the two clay idols in the temple. When he heard the roar of gongs and drums, Gao Ju turned to Gao Ming. "What can you see now in the Zhou camp, elder brother?" "Nothing at all, except thousands of red flags like great moving sea." "How about you? What can you hear, brother?" Gao Ming asked. "I can only hear the deafening noise of gongs and drums." Gao Jie said. They grew very worried. Jiang Ziya could not take any action before Li Jing and Thunderbolt got back. The next day, Thunderbolt arrived and reported that he not only smashed the clay idols, but also set the temple on fire and burned it to the ground. "We can rebuild it after the tyrant's downfall," he suggested. Jiang Ziya was pleased to hear the news. He ordered Nejia and Wu Ji to build a terrace in the camp, positioned according to the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. They placed a pot in the center stamped with charms and spells on all sides. When everything was ready, it was reported that Li Jing had returned. Jiang Ziya held a military conference to discuss the situation. "Why hasn't the East Grand Duke come yet?" he asked. It was just then reported that Zheng Lung had arrived. When he heard about Earth Traveler Sun's death, Zhang wept bitterly. Yonghong pondered unhappily over their situation. "We've had so many battles with the enemy, but we still haven't beaten them. We're just wasting our time." He ordered Chang Hao and Wu Long. "Launch a surprise raid tonight with Gao Ming and Gao Ju. Keep Ying Po Bai and Lei Kai as reinforcements on the left and right, and let Ying Chengxiu and Lu Rinji attack the enemy from the rear. Make this attack our final victory." His generals all prepared for action that night. Jiang Ziya was sitting in the central camp when a strong whirlwind suddenly whipped around, blowing violently at the tent. Jiang quickly calculated on his fingers what was about to happen. Delighted with the result of his divination, he called his generals in. Set up peach log pillars in the central camp. Stamp them with charms and hang invisible nets from the sky to the earth. All troops must guard their positions closely. No reckless action is permitted. Let Li Jing resist the attacks from the east, Yang Ran from the west, Nejia from the south, and Thunderbolt from the north. Yang Jian and Wei Hu shall protect the commander's terrace, and General Nungong Kuo, Wu Ji, Zheng Lun, and Dragon Beard Tiger shall protect King Wu's camp. He ordered. When everything was ready, Jiang Ziya took a bath to cleanse his body and piously purify his heart. He mounted the terrace to wait for Yan Hong's attack. At the second watch, the two Jiaos and their troops were sent in as the first contingent. Yan Hong and his army held back to launch a surprise attack. Lu Rinji said to Ying Chengxiu, "Dear brother, I think there is no hope of winning the raid tonight. I'm afraid we'll be badly beaten, as Jiang Ziya is experienced and skilled in war techniques. He knows about the philosophy of changes, and his disciples are all extremely talented. They are certainly well prepared to meet us. We'd better wane behind to see what we can do." "You are entirely right, brother," Ying Chengxiu replied. With a roar of cannon fire, Gao Ming and Gao Zhu broke into the Zhou camp, followed by Yun Hong, Chang Hao, and Wu Long. Jiang Ziya was waiting for them on the terrace. With his hair loose over his shoulders and a sword in hand, he recited prayers and spells, calling forth clouds, fog, and wind to cover the sky. If you want to know what he did next, please read on.